guys tonight. And my home group is the Gold. My home group is the Golden Text group of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm just so overwhelmed with joy tonight. I'm overwhelmed to see some of my as a matter of fact, every single person, other than Frankie, who I know, casually through the meeting, and she's just a joy. Every single person that picked up tonight is a close and dear personal friend of mine. It was like overwhelming. And I know them in an intimate way. Like we've been out. I've spent the weekend with those beautiful boys, Josh and Brooke. I've seen them behind the scenes. They're exactly like they said they are. They love God and they love Alcoholics Anonymous. They don't take themselves so seriously, but they take their program very seriously. Every single person. I've seen Shari behind the scenes. I've seen her crazy. I've seen her amazing. I've seen her work the greatest 10-step ever because she needs to. I've seen Tony act out because he's Italian. And if you didn't understand what his mother said, she was like, Tony was a very bad boy. Very bad. He smoked a lot of crack. That's what she said. And when I first met her, she told me, she goes, Stevie, my son, he was a very bad boy. He likes the cocaine. And I said, Mom, Alba, we're going to work with him. And you know, he ran from church and he ran right back into church's arms. So that's the amazing thing about Alcoholics Anonymous. We run from the very thing that's going to cure us into the thing that'll kill us until we surrender, and then God brings us back. And don't be afraid of the word church. Put the word spirituality in for you. Put the word temple, put the word mosque, put the word spirituality, but make sure that you identify a place that you're going to go to as a house of worship. AA is but a spiritual kindergarten. Don't be afraid of when I'm saying this comes from the founders. And if you're at a place in your life where you're feeling like there's more, I want to share something with you. That's because there's more. You're like, I don't understand. I'm in AA. I'm doing this. I got a home group. I got a position. I got this. And you're supposed to, but there's more. And the reason I say that is because when you get to the more, right, Josh, when you get to the more, you realize, oh, the reason I went out last time, or the reason I was miserable last time, is because I'm just doing just enough. But there's so much more. The 6th and 7th step, which is what we'll be talking about the next couple weeks, entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. I cannot tell you how many times I go to a meeting and I hear someone say that they're working on patience, or they're working on anger, or they're working on lust. And I worked on stuff my entire life and I never got anywhere. Until I reread the step, and it says that we were entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. Which defects of character? The defects of character that when we were writing the 5th step came blaring out to us. You know, shocking. Mine was selfishness. Like the number one. Ego. Number one. Ego. Ego and selfish. Selfish and ego. I thought I was the nicest guy in the world. I went up to my sponsor in Minneapolis and I told him my story. And right before he was my sponsor, I said, you're going to be my sponsor. His name is Jerry Bear, tough Jewish guy from Manhattan. And I met him in Minnesota. And he just finished speaking. And I went up to him and I said, you're going to be my sponsor. And he goes, slow down, kid, slow down. Meet me at the diner. And I met him at the diner. I told him my story. He goes, so why are you out of work? I go, well, I had a fist fight on the floor at the dining room with another waiter, but he was wrong and everything. He goes, stop. I want you to know this. This is a true story. I'm not embellishing. He said, I don't like you. You are not a nice person. I was shocked. I was like the last to know. I thought I was amazing. I thought the only two things that I had to quit was alcohol and crack. I thought everything else was amazing. He said, you're a walking defect without character. I was told you guys were going to love me until I could love myself. This is not what I was expecting. And he was so right. I'm never going to be able to, when I had an anger problem from the time I was born, I believe a lot of people in the Northeast do. I don't know if that's something everyone does, but I mean, everyone in the Northeast is always ready to go off on something. And so my parents I was kicked off the bus at Mrs. McGillicuddy's nursery school, came to my mom and said, Marie, your son cannot come back to nursery school. My mom says, why can't he? Because he bites the other children. And so they put me in karate because they figured I would be able to get out my aggression, and I would go there and I would fight there, and then I would come back and I would be nice. And nothing worked. I did many different programs. I never really get into, but I've done many programs. I've done an S type of program called Life Spring, where they like you kind of mantra your anger out, and I've done a lot of programs. My mother sent me to a camp for deaf children, hoping that I would get some compassion. It was through the church, you know, and I didn't get compassion. I got resentful. I'm like, they're all deaf. So nothing worked from the outside in. The only thing that ever worked, that's a true story, by the way. The only thing that ever worked was from the inside out. See, I have to have so much God in me that he pushes the defects out. There has to be so much God in me that the defective character has no room to live. If I'm not entirely ready to have God remove these defects that are identified in the fourth and fifth step, then those defects will live in me and take over. And they did many times. I had a year and a half and I had 7 years. Both times. Relapsed both times. 100% because of my defective character. The year and a half I went on my defective character of lust. The 7 year, also lust. And anger and pride and not going to meetings. I hear people say that meeting makers, that it doesn't matter if you go to meetings. It matters. It 100% matters, because if I don't go to meetings, then I can't identify the things I need to change, the things I heard a speaker last night, Tennessee. I met him here with you guys. Tennessee, we invited him to come to one of our home groups. 1 year, he's got 1 year's sobriety. He came there. I learned so much from Tennessee last night. But say I didn't go to that meeting. If Rachel didn't come up and give a beautiful husband a medallion, then Tennessee wouldn't have come up. I wouldn't have known I wanted to hear him speak. Say I didn't go to the meeting last night to hear Tennessee. I would not have heard that information. So meeting makers do make it a lot more than meeting makers don't make it. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Right, Robert? I mean, that idea that it doesn't matter if you go to meeting. It doesn't matter if you go to the gym. It doesn't matter if you go to the dentist. It doesn't matter if you go to the doctor. You know, what's wrong with your teeth? I don't believe in dentistry. You know, it's so stupid. And congratulations, Les. It's so beautiful to watch you the last couple of years, and to all the celebrants. What a we haven't been giving myself. I wasn't given a new life. I wasn't given my old life back, which I wouldn't have wanted. I was given an entirely different someone else's life. My dad, may God rest his soul, we didn't have the greatest relationship from the time, like from 14 to 34. You know, it was a little bad era, 14 to 34. We had a bad era there, my dad and I. No matter what he said, I argued. No matter what I said, I irritated him. My voice irritated him. We couldn't be around each other. We had fist fights. And my dad was a good guy, a mensch, a good guy. And my dad died on February 14th, and they brought him back 7 times in one night in Cancun, Mexico. He died of drowning. And when he came back, he lived, none of this is a joke, he lived on my couch in my house, even though they had their own place, so that I could help take care of him. And when he came back, he had came back from the dead, and he was a different person. And he joined the program of Gamblers Anonymous. And he died Gamblers Anonymous 28 years, and in Alcoholics Anonymous 19 or 20 years clean. This program, the 12 steps, will not only change you, but give you another person's life like you don't, because you don't deserve it. And that's what God's grace is all about. What was that movie? The Christmas movie, the Someone Else's Life. What was that called?
The Wonderful Life.
We have a wonder, and if you could go back and see yourself not sober and how it ends up terrible. And how do you know? Think about your relapse. It was terrible. What did Tony say? His whole family was destroyed. Another person said when they come, I destroyed my family. And then we come into Alcoholics Anonymous and we do this, and hopefully you don't do the steps, you work the steps, then you live the steps, right? You have a posse, you have a team around you, you get a we. That's what I was trying to tell one of the, Brooke and Josh, they had this beautiful team, and one of the other boys, he's out. He's back in treatment now. Why is that boy back in treatment? Because he couldn't develop his we. He got self-sufficient. There's nothing self-sufficient about this. On the way up here, Maddie had a question. Maddie's got 35 years. Is it 35 years? 37 years. He had a question about something and he texted another member of Alcoholics Anonymous with less years than him, and that person texted back information, and that's how we do it. I send messages to Robert all the time, Robert Sanchez. Hey, what would you do in this situation? Harvey, I got to work with him for 2 or 3 years. Hey, what would you do? Sheldon, what would you? This whole thing, wisdom comes in a multitude of counts. And if you're, and I've said it before, and I'm not going to say it again tonight, but if you're the smartest person in your we, you need to expand your we. You need to get more people in there that'll tell you exactly what the truth is about yourself. I already said that last week, but if you weren't here and nobody's telling you the truth about yourself, you really do need to expand that circle. And you know what I'm telling, and I'm going to tell you the truth about yourself right now. You're probably not doing enough spiritually. Don't get offended. Well, you don't know me. No, I know you because I am you. And I have to push who said that tonight? That was somebody who said that tonight. Oh, Tony. You have to push yourself to places you don't want to, because one of our chief character defects in the Padules, or whatever the way you call it doesn't really matter to me what the acronym that you call it. I call it Padule so that I can remember. I don't have a great memory. Is pride, anger, greed, gluttony, envy, lust, and sloth. That's how I remember. And one of the chief ones for me is sloth. I don't always want to go to Bible study on Wednesday, recovery church on Wednesday, church on Sunday, 5 meetings during the week, a service commitment. I don't always want to do that. And during those times when I don't want to do it is when the greatest blessings happen. It's the things that I don't want to do that I do that actually make me the man that I want to be. Otherwise, I return to the man that I used to be. Because the man that I used to be not only will drink again, but that guy's a jerk off. And he was a jerk off. My mother didn't come up and say that, but she could have said, he was a real jerk off. And I was. She had to break spoons over my head. She had to throw things in my face. She had to call different names because I was a jerk. And I will return to a jerk based on my own self-will. So every day, the 6th step tells me, how do I combat that? I do the things opposite to what I want to do. I want to sit at home like Al Bundy. I was going to say Ted Bundy. That would be horrible. I definitely don't want to sit at home like Ted Bundy. But I want to sit at home like Al Bundy with my hand in the top of my shorts and do nothing. So instead, my hand can't come anywhere near my shorts, and I'm out there doing as much work as I possibly can. Because if I do the things I want to do, I'll return back to that person before. One of the things that you can always tell in terms of your emotional sobriety is if you do the uncomfortable things. Making amends, Harvey, right? Making amends when things are uncomfortable. Listen, this is not about you getting through life unscathed. This is about being scathed and going, I'm repairing the scathe. If you don't know what that means and it breaks down for you, it's not about you going through life without pain. It's about you having the God in you to get through the pain. Amen. I have people in here. Yes. I was in a car tonight with a man that has stage 4 cancer, my mom that has a disease right now that's kicking her tush, even though she's here tonight. She's happy. You wouldn't even know it. And both of them were in the car happy, joyous, and free. Let me tell you, That's where I want to be. That's who the type of people I want to be around. I want to continue to walk in the image and likeness of my Creator. How do I walk in the image and likeness of my Creator? Don't walk in the image and likeness of me. I remember a lot of times when I would come up here in the early days, and I know maybe I didn't show it, but it would take me 45 minutes to get ready to come speak to you guys about God. 45 minutes to get ready. I'm like, how does this look? Well, what does this thing look at me? Well, what if I turn to that way? How's the back of my hair look like? Well, what is that going to look like? How do the pants look? What if everybody in the front row doesn't like my pants? How am I over here talking to you about God if all I am to do is think about myself, that it takes me 45 minutes to get ready? Mom, how long did it take me to get ready tonight? 3 minutes. Because I'm not here to talk about how great I am or how great I look. I'm here to say I'm a wretch that was caught up in my own nonsense. Then God stepped in and said, I'm going to save you from your nonsense. And let me tell you what I'm going to do for you. You're going to have an amazing life. You're going to meet this Jewish girl who's Boca Jew, which is like serious Jew. You know, there's Jew, there's this, and there's Boca Jew. There's the top of the Jew scale. And somewhere down the road, like years later, after you've been friends with her for years, not only are you going to marry her to that beautiful man that she's sitting next to, Stephen, but the next year, you guys are going to go out to Arizona and you're going to baptize her in a Catholic church. I'm not Catholic. She's not Catholic, but I'm going to baptize her in a Catholic church on the side of the mountain in Sedona. You can't write this. As Tom says, you can't write this S-H-I-T. You can't. It's mind-blowing. If you're not having slender thread, thank you, Paul, for giving us that. If you're not having slender thread moments right now, one of two things. Like meeting you and Lloyd and Karen, how beautiful that now our friendship is because of this meeting. If you're not having slender thread moments, it's one of two things. You're either not paying attention. Oh, you don't know what that means, slender threads? It means there are God things that are happening to you all the time that could not have happened, but you see it happening and you say, but God. Slender thread moments. If you're not having slender thread moments, one of two things. You're not paying attention or you're full of yourself and you can't see it. Just the way that I met Bossy. Just the way I met half of you. It's incredible. It's mind-blowing because it's not from planet Earth. It's supernatural. I was selfish, self-centered. All I could think about was me. I was worried about what I would speak about. I was worried about what was going to come out of my mouth. I was worried about if you would like me. And none of that stuff means anything today as long as I'm pleasing the one person that counts, and that one is God. And I'm going to tell you more about him in the 7th step next week.